And what is NEXUS? If you've not been there before, it's a community of innovation-driven startups. It's university colleagues, it's students. We're startups, scale-ups, university spin-out companies, and increasingly companies that spin into the university to take advantage of the huge raft of expertise that's on campus. And in our regional innovation ecosystem, we're at the apex of the innovation arc. We work extensively with partners. We're a hop, skip, and a jump from LGI, where I was recently visiting my dad after he had a fall in hospital. So we're all massively impacted by our friends and our families and our parents' health. And I think it's quite inspirational to be just a small part and a small cog in the wheel of what's happening here in Leeds. NEXUS is a fantastic building. It's a £40 million investment by the University of Leeds. We've got wonderful facilities. We've got amazing coffee. There's a business lounge. We've got a fantastic atrium. When we had 20 visitors from the Norwegian Health and Social Committee yesterday, they commented on how it made them feel at home because it's like a giant sauna in our atrium. So yeah, we've got a fantastic building, but the building is just the enabler for what we're trying to do alongside all our many, many valued partners. These are the kind of conversations that I and my colleagues will have with founders, with CEOs of large companies from clinical trials research units. It's a huge, vast, interesting and complex range of conversations that we have. But when I worked for Scaled Insights, the founder was a high net worth individual. He was a Canadian AI founder. He didn't quite understand the idiosyncrasies and specifics of doing business in the UK. He thought you have a meeting, 3 meetings, and then you do a deal. And didn't appreciate that you need to provide pensions for your employees. There's lots of things that we give to employees in the UK that overseas founders don't necessarily know. So what we're really there to do is understand the needs of the business, really try and get under the skin of where they are, what they are hoping to achieve, and how we as University of Leeds colleagues can potentially help them to get there. Part of the proposition at NEXUS is around professional services partners. So we have KPMG, the global advisory firm, HGF, an IP and patent attorney, Squire Patton Boggs, the global legal firm, and one of the large banks really there to help provide that infrastructure and support to provide additional insights that go above and beyond industry and academic collaboration. We are very much involved in supporting companies with understanding how to frame their research applications. You've got Histosonics there and Atlas Endoscopy, and I see some friends from in there today. They helped to give a demo to these visitors from Norway yesterday. So I think what I'm really proud of what we're doing at NEXUS is building a community, and I think there's a lot of cross-fertilization and sharing and knowledge sharing that we really try and foster and encourage, not just internally but also externally out into the region and beyond. I wanted to just touch on a few things where I think we're working on at the moment, but I thought might be relevant. So we have a cluster focus. Seamus mentioned clusters earlier, and really we're interested in supporting companies that are working towards reducing health inequalities, which is a broad brush. But we view and enter into our initial conversations with companies through that lens. We're working on a smart cities cluster as well in a partnership called Ingenuity with the White Rose Innovation Agency out at Morley, where the new train station is completed, I believe. And green finance and fintech. And interestingly, these clusters do tend to overlap quite often. If you can produce and develop medtech solutions, then arguably we might have smarter cities as well. It takes another talk to go into that, I think. But what else are we trying to do? Well, we're enabling and nurturing our community. So we host regular events. NEXUS Connect's our most frequent one. We build a stage, open up the atrium. Everybody's welcome. Might not be enough space to fit everybody in the room tonight, but we have one in April. You're all very welcome to come. We feed and water you, which is always good. We host regular wellbeing and social events for our members and for people across the university who are also very welcome to come. We're supporting Climb24 this year, which is an investor conference which was new last year. We're going to be exhibiting there and providing a forum and a platform for some of the member companies to show their wares and hopefully help them to bring more investment into the region. We're enabling and nurturing the community. So I'm sure a lot of people will be aware of Propel. I actually took Scaled Insights through the first cohort when it was based down at Platform. Proud to say that I named us the Propellers. And now we're in the 5th cohort of Propel. It's the 5th anniversary of NEXUS, and we're really proud and pleased to be able to host both the UK Propels and also the international delegations that come in from, well, we've had India, Canada, and the Nordics. Sorry, I nearly forgot the Michael Beverley Fellowship there. Oops, we're going backwards and forwards. Can I go backwards? Sorry. Yeah. Operator error.
There we go.
Problem exists between computer and keyboard. Another one, please, V.
The next one. There we go.
There we go. So Michael Beverley Fellowship is all around enabling postgraduate researchers to become more commercially aware and to kind of provide them with that background and education. We're enabling and nurturing the future. So you may be aware of Northern Gritstone. It's a fund collaboratively set up between the University of Manchester, University of Sheffield and Leeds. Some of their spin-out companies and some of the university spin-out companies have been invested in. So we've got HealthTech, which is a really interesting spin-out. In this space, in the sort of medtech space, we've got Adsilico, which is a result of Professor Alex Frangi and Sheena McPherson as their new CEO. So watch this space for them. I mentioned Ingenuity before, the living lab and test bed. So for companies wanting to test smart cities type products, around livability, movability, data, we're developing that proposition. And Spark's an interesting one that, again, we're really pleased with. So you may have heard of Lad Bible. That's a product of Spark. Spark is enterprise support for students. So if a student has an idea or wants to set up a company to become entrepreneurial, they're incubated and supported through the Spark. They have a space within NEXUS, which means that those students are instantly embedded into an innovation community, and they have those opportunities to serendipitously bump into other innovators and other startup founders, as well as some of the experts that are from the university and beyond. This is really just a snapshot of some of the companies that are part of the community now, and I could pick off most of them. It's my job, I think, to be nosy and to kind of get to know the founders and get to know as many of the people who work in the companies and the experts, and try and be that almost concierge between them. So look at there, we've got Invibio, LabReady, Scaled Insights. So we use LabReady from the States, Ladidia from Norway. I wanted to focus though on just a few, and obviously we've got Atlas Endoscopy here. I was in a room with Pietro Valdastri, the academic lead, when he showed a animated video to the funder from, I think it was the ESPRC, but I probably got the acronym wrong, there's so many. But it was literally very much at the embryonic stage, at the ideation stage of that technology. And now they're doing some in-human trials. They're bursting out the seams in their lab and their office. And they always provide me with a good joke when I walk around telling people, but in front of a large audience, I won't say that. I look at Andel Environmental. So they're not a medtech company, but they're a good example of how a non-startup could benefit from NEXUS and what we do. I know the chief commercial officer he knows me from when I was about that high from my cricket club. He's actually Councillor Mark Harris, who was the last non-politician to be leader of the Leeds City Council. And most famously, he was one of the people impacted upon by the cloud that came over from Chernobyl. So he got throat cancer as a result of that. But he came in, they'd tried to do a KTP, Knowledge Transfer Partnership, with another university. It didn't go very well. They came to us and we convened a meeting for Mark and his colleagues of the Water at Leeds Research Group. Within 5 minutes of being in that meeting, Mark had had his head in his hands, he was scratching his head, and I thought, oh, what's up, is he okay? And what had happened was an academic had answered a question in 5 minutes that they'd previously spent thousands and thousands of pounds on with consultants. So we can really help to fast track and support companies, not just at the very early stage, but also, more established companies. Digibeat, you may be aware of, that's Maddie Julian. Their company was in the first cohort of Propel with us, and they've recently moved into Nexus to take an office so they can really kind of go to that next level and work alongside our collaboration team. I'm going to get to, how long have I got, V? How am I doing?
2 or 3 minutes.
2 or 3 minutes, okay. So Nexus isn't about me, it's not about the building, it's about the people and the stories that we're hoping and hopefully helping to create in there. Many of you might recognise Sophie Copley on the right, her company's Little Journey. They're already working very closely with the Trust and with the Innovation Pop-Up. They've taken an office, they are creating a company that's helping children with psychological preparedness for their HealthTech journeys, healthcare journeys. Going back to my mum's story, she had no idea what the outcome and implication of her surgery was going to be. She had no psychological support before or after that. And quite frankly, neither did we. I really hope that Sophie doesn't just focus on kids and that she can really scale and grow that business so that they support adults as well. Henry on the right, he's showing you his microneedles. So apparently there are a lot of people who are scared of having injections and having needles. So Henry is a product of the Spark at the university that I mentioned. Henry's working with his colleague Ian. They've just got really early stage funding, around £350,000 investment. It's their SAIS funding. That's enabled them to take a tenancy in one of the wet labs at Nexus. They've got lots of equipment in there. They're doing their science and research. They are, we hope, going to be some of the shining stars of Nexus. They had an idea as students. They got supported by the university and Spark. They came into our community. We got to know them, and it's a real pleasure to be able to help a really young founder like Henry on that journey. Nearly there, nearly got there. So that's a little snapshot of Nexus. So that's Kelvin Yondar. Kelvin works for a company called Yondar, and they are doing a lot of VR, AR training for education, and they're doing that alongside the Space Hub Yorkshire, which is something we're really proud to host at Nexus as well. And, you go from really young entrepreneurs and founders, and then you get to somebody like Jim Nicholas from Unify. And Jim's a consumer professional, highly experienced, highly credible business person, but he's basing his team in Nexus. He's doing human-machine interaction technology at its broadest. I really just wanted to try and give you a sense of what we're doing at Nexus, and hopefully provide you some insight. And if you've not been, please get in touch, come and find us. My email is going to be there on the next slide. This is going back in time again, right to the beginning of the journey again. So you see a nice group there. That is the first cohort of Innovative Entrepreneurs. Innovative Entrepreneurs is funded by West Yorkshire Combined Authority. That is a group of, again, very early stage entrepreneurs. The goal of this program is to support and engage and nourish and help to flourish a group of people from underrepresented groups predominantly. They're going through a quite intensive program of education, support, workshops and so on, to get them to the point where they're investor ready, or to provide them with interesting insights in how to promote and market their businesses and themselves. This is the University of Leeds, it's 3M Bick in Huddersfield, Bradford, it's many other stakeholders across the region. So I think, I'm proud to work for Nexus. I'm really pleased that I'm employed by the university that I graduated from probably about 30 years ago. But I genuinely feel that we are just one element in this whole equation. And, what do they say? Your network is your net worth. We're a network of organisations and people that are really trying to find the best ways of working together to support people that can help improve patients' lives and outcomes. And that's my story today.